This channel is made possible by viewers like you. My viewers, subscribers, and patrons greatly help to keep this channel going. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for all of you. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any uploads. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, please check out my Patreon page. For just $1 a month, you'll get access to what I'm working on, previews of upcoming content, and even early videos, along with other tier options for those that are interested. Thank you, and now on to the video. Indies come in so many different shapes and forms, and as someone who tries to cover them as well, I have noticed that there is a set of tiers that I would say for these types of games. We have the very bottom of the barrel crap games that come out almost daily, and these happen to flood the space and can make it very hard to find some of those delightful nuggets. Then you have the indies with cool concepts, and while they are fun, it definitely feels like those titles needed some more time in the oven to make them more fully realized. Then you have the good titles, the ones that mostly get it all right and are generally enjoyable to play. And at the top, you have those gems that really understand and present their concept well. After getting a chance to play the early build of GINSHA, and now the final build of the game, I can say that this is something special. This developer first crossed my path with an enjoyable game called Cryo Gear, and in many ways, GINSHA feels like the next evolution from that. This Metroidvania RPG is well done and very fun. I really love when a title manages to deliver on exploration, and I'm talking about true exploration. Maybe you might have some guidance, but for the most part, the experience is rather hands-off. This is generally hard to find within the AAA space. Though there are some good examples, many of those big developers want to make sure that they provide a playground while also ushering you to where you need to go. They fear that the player might get frustrated if they are not bombarded with waypoints and markers all the time. I even enjoy many of these games, but it's so refreshing to sit down and play a game that sort of removes a bunch of those modern guides that we have become used to, and to just focus on delivering quality exploration and discovery. The two go hand in hand, especially when done well. While playing GINSHA, there were plenty of times where I honestly didn't know where to go, or even if I was going in the right direction towards my main objective. And then suddenly I was in a new area up against foes I haven't fought yet. Or maybe I decided to go down instead of to the right, and this leads me to an optional boss fight. What if I'm not prepared for it? This happened and added another layer of tension as I tried to figure out how to use what I had to defeat my opponent. And while death might be a bit frustrating, those moments of victory are even sweeter because I chose to go down that path that led me there. Not the game spoon-feeding me, but rather creating levels and spaces that are fun to be within and explore. This is even seen in one of the first rooms, where you find a hidden room and can change the difficulty that the game provides you, and it gives you an upgraded scanner. This is something that you would usually find built within the menus, but here it's something you find and discover. GINSHA treats you like an adult and honestly respects the player's time. And I want to add on this as well that there are points, especially at the start, where they give you guidance on where to go, but not to the point where it feels too much. There's an appreciated balance here. GINSHA is a nice mixture of shooting and exploring. The shooting is pretty good, with sound effects sounding appropriately sci-fi with enough bang to make them satisfying. The burst gun gives you some nice range, and it is an all-around good weapon to use. The shotgun is great for those charging foes, and your charge shot is useful for taking down enemies with some armor. GINSHA has an interesting mechanic where you have a shield that you can pretty much pull up at any time. The shield can actually absorb enemy fire, and this is your main means of defense. This can even be used to help you get through some deadly traps. You can still fire while using it as well, but the shield is not infinite and takes a bit to recharge. I really like the shield, and I think more skilled players will find better ways to use it and preserve as much power as possible, and then you can deploy it more often. You do feel completely vulnerable without it, in those instances where you've used it all up. When first playing the game, I actually had to get into the groove of using it better than I did. I would be playing this like any other Metroidvania, jumping to avoid attacks, and then it would start to click that I needed to lean more on my shield so I didn't die. GINSHA provides satisfying progression. You'll gain new levels, loot, new weapons, and a lot more as you keep playing. You'll find and earn new pieces of armor that will provide you with better stats and bonuses along with new weapons to use. As you kill enemies, you will gain experience points, and you can use those to upgrade 4 stats. They relate to different elements like bettering your blaster, health, and a few others. Along with this, you'll gain 1 skill point each time you level up, and the trees are pretty extensive with what direction you can go in. You can focus on bettering your weapons, upgrading your armor and defense options, or you can invest in skills that help with exploration, like revealing hidden walls as you use your shield. There is a good amount of personalization options here in what you choose to dump those stat and skill points into. Something else I want to mention is that very same shield that you can use for your defense is also used for exploring. It will allow you to float along with a dash, and both of these are used well to get around the map. Again, exploring is so satisfying with the large amount of nooks and crannies to keep an eye out for. Oftentimes I would complete a room or area, and I'd move on to the next one. But before I really got into the next room, I was wondering, did I find everything in the prior one? Should I go back because there might be something useful there that I missed? GINSHA does a quality job of just getting us right into the game. It's direct and to the point. We get some mystery at the start from the world and story, and then you're right into the gameplay. I really appreciate how the tutorials are rather short and to the point. This way the game maintains a good sense of pacing, rather than getting into feeling like a stop and go experience. It feels like it was well tested and how someone would feel starting the game, and you really want to have it grab you right away, because this is the type of thing that grabs you and then keeps you wanting to dive into it more and more. This is a game that I hope does not turn into a hidden gem for the year, instead gets the appropriate amount of attention that it deserves. GINSHA has little touches that makes it feel like it has nods to older and classic games that we love from this genre, along with it being all of its own. Like I said at the start, this is a top tier indie game, and one of those titles that is trying something new while paying respect to what inspired this one. This isn't a copy of those classics, but rather a new experience that understands why those classics are considered great. There are a lot of really good qualities here, from the personalization, progression, and even the fun weapons you get to use. But I think whenever we get to really sink our teeth into a game that allows for quality exploration and discovery, that will always stand above the rest of the other aspects. GINSHA is an awesome indie, and one that I think is worth your time. Currently it's out on Switch and PC, and I believe at some point they are planning on bringing it to the PlayStation and Xbox as well. I would recommend you give this a try. Are you interested in GINSHA? Will you be playing this one? Let me know all of this in the comments down below. If you're interested in being notified of new videos, please hit the subscribe button and bell. And if you would like to support the channel and get early access to content, please check out my Patreon. All of the links will be at the end of this video and within the description. And thank you very much for watching.